morning. Welcome to 모닝스페셜. 여러분 안녕하세요. 8월 20일 화요일 최수진의 모닝스페셜입니다. Now as Koreans, we all take 눈치 for granted. Some people are more fluent in 눈치, so to speak, than others. And for translators, it's one of the most challenging tasks to explain 눈치. But for the outside world, 눈치 is nothing short of a superpower. 선생님이 아는 사람 손 들어보세요 할 때, 직장 회식으로 예정보다 늦게 귀가할 때, 고기 반찬이 마지막 한 점 남았을 때, 우리는 주변 눈치를 보게 되는데요. 눈치. 한국에서는 꼭 필요한 이 눈치를 외국인에게 설명한다고 하면 뭐라고 말해줄 수 있을까요? 만만치 않은 일이죠. 최근 이 눈치에 대한 책이 영국에서 발간되어 화제라고 합니다. The Power of 눈치, The Korean Secret to Happiness and Success. 한국인의 행복과 성공을 위한 눈치의 힘이라는 제목의 책이 바로 그것인데요. 굳이 말로 표현하지 않아도 외국인들이 우리의 눈치를 이해하는 날이 머지않은 것 같습니다. I guess in the case of 눈치, the last thing you should do is search for it in the dictionary because this word is meant to be learnt by living. And with that in mind, let me give you today's quiz question for the first hour. Which of the following situations calls for 눈치 reading? 1번, when it's time to leave the office but nobody is moving. 2번, listening to mo닝스페셜. 언제 눈치를 보셔야 될까요? 1번, when it's time to leave the office but nobody is moving. 2번, listening to mo닝스페셜. 오늘도 청취자 여러분의 많은 참여 기다리고 있습니다. 여러분 눈치 안 보고 듣고 계시죠? 여러분의 퀴즈 정답 보내주신 분들 중에 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 떡볶이 세트 보내드리겠습니다. 또 여러분의 소식과 소감 그리고 방송 중 궁금한 질문 있으시면 보내주세요. 짧은 문자는 50원, 긴 문자는 100원에 샵 1045고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. Also, why don't you send me some funny stories if you have any, where you couldn't read 눈치. 여러분의 이 눈치와 관련된 재미있고 재치 있는 사연도 오늘 받도록 하겠습니다. Okay, let's kick off today's show with today's global headlines. 세계 각국 언론사들의 어떤 헤드라인이 올라왔는지 살펴보는 시간입니다. Touch Global Headlines.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs called in a Japanese diplomat on Monday to demand Tokyo's explanation on its plan to discharge contaminated water from Fukushima into the Pacific Ocean.
외교부가 후쿠시마 원전 오염수 방출 문제와 관련해 주한 일본 대사관 경제공사를 초치했습니다.
Demonstrations in Indonesia's West Papua region have turned violent as thousands of protesters burned public facilities and blocked roads.
인도네시아 파푸아에서 수천 명이 반정부 시위를 벌여 지방의회 건물이 불타고 도심이 마비됐습니다.
An Iranian supertanker has set sail from Gibraltar 45 days after being seized by British naval forces.
영국령 지브랄터에 억류돼 있던 이란 유조선이 45일 만에 풀려났습니다.
A fuel tanker exploded in Uganda on Sunday, killing at least 10 people.
아프리카 우간다에서 유조차 폭발 사고로 최소 10명이 숨졌습니다.
The UN is set to ban the practice of taking baby elephants from their natural habitat and placing them in zoos and circuses.
야생에서 불법으로 포획된 코끼리를 동물원 등에 팔아넘기는 거래가 금지될 전망입니다.
Poland has demanded additional compensation from Germany for the damage and suffering the Nazis caused in World War II.
폴란드 당국이 독일을 상대로 2차 세계대전 피해에 대한 추가 배상을 요구했습니다. And for the headlines and more, guess who's in the studio? Sean.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be back.
Yeah, no, a lot of our listeners have been waiting for this day. How have you been, Sean?
I've been good. Yeah, it's been a bit of a break. Just
Yeah.
filling in for Walter.
It's lovely to see you here.
Yeah, it's a nice, refreshing way to start the morning again.
손주희 님이요. 쇼온쌤이시네요. 보이는 라디오 켜야겠어요. 라고 보내셨습니다. What's that saying about you and
Hello.
using the 보이는 라디오 before Sean was here? Thank you so much, 손주희 님. 조주희 님은요. 우와, 쇼온쌤이다. 반가. 목소리 너무 좋아요. 보내주셨습니다. Yes. It's lovely to have you
Yeah.
back here, as we said earlier on. And, you know, the opening was about 눈치, but please, everyone, 눈치 보지 마시고요. 사연 보내주세요. Send in as many messages as you'd like to. Wow, we're getting lots of responses right now, actually. 끝번호 0314님도요. 와, 션림 선생님이다 하시면서 오랜만입니다 하셨어요.
Yeah, long time no see, definitely. Yeah, long time no hear, I guess, through the radio.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, keep those messages coming in. We'll try to check those as we go along, and we'll introduce a few more of those after we go over the headlines. But if you'd like to listen to those headlines once again, you can do so by visiting our website. We have a little tab there where you can listen to just the headlines that we read there. 조금 전에 들으신 헤드라인은요, 모닝스페셜 홈페이지 헤드라인 다시 듣기에서 무료로 다시 들으실 수 있습니다. 많은 이용 바랍니다. Let's go over the headlines.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs called in a Japanese diplomat on Monday to demand Tokyo's explanation on its plan to discharge contaminated water from Fukushima into the Pacific Ocean.
외교부가 후쿠시마 원전 오염수 방출 문제와 관련해 주한 일본 대사관 경제공사를 초치했습니다.
So a representative from the Seoul's foreign ministry called in Japan's minister for economic affairs from the Japanese embassy in Seoul to deliver a note saying that Seoul is very concerned with Tokyo's supposed plan to discharge its radioactive water straight into the ocean.
Right. And quite recently there was a report, I believe it was from the United Nations and other environmental groups as well have said that this contamination could directly affect Korea, of all the countries, especially because of its proximity to Japan.
Exactly, and how the water currents move.
Yeah.
The country that would be affected would be Korea.
Oh, that was actually not the UN, but it was Greenpeace. I should
Right.
correct that.
So Greenpeace said that this discharge plan has ignored other options. And so these options that are on the table include many different options, but the discharge of the water into the ocean is the cheapest and the quickest. And so it's the most tempting one for Japan because they
Right.
could just get rid of their problem quickly.
It is a money issue at the end of the day.
And especially with the 2020 Olympics coming up, they can get rid of this problem, but they're hurting the environment,
Sure.
the future, and other countries, including Korea. There are other options such as expanding the capacity of the storage facilities. They could also try evaporating the water and then putting the contaminants deep underground. But there's not a lot of information that's coming back from Japan.
Right.
And so Korea has also expressed its discontent with Japan, saying that Japan is not being very clear and transparent
Right.
about its decision-making process.
And the latest is a follow-up measure from South Korea's government. Along those lines, 정부는요, 어제 말씀해 주신 대로 주한 일본 대사관의 경제공사를 불러서 우리 정부의 입장을 전달했습니다. 후쿠시마 원전 오염수의 그 처리 결과에 대한 내용이죠. 지금 말씀해 주신 바와 같이 어떤 건강, 안전 문제, 그리고 더 나아가서 이제 국가 전체에 미치는 영향에 대해서 매우 우려스럽다라는 내용을 전달한 것으로 그렇게 전해지고 있습니다. Alright, well let's leave that story there and move on to headline number 2.
Demonstrations in Indonesia's West Papua region have turned violent as thousands of protesters burned public facilities and blocked roads.
인도네시아 파푸아에서 수천 명이 반정부 시위를 벌여 지방의회 건물이 불타고 도심이 마비됐습니다.
So according to police, protesters burned the parliamentary building in West Papua's provincial capital, and the images showed the demonstrators protesting and holding up the Morning Star flag, which is seen as a symbol of self-rule by the Papuans. So this is really a demonstration for independence and self-governance in the region.
Right. Now, so Papua right now is part of Indonesia, right?
Right.
And the people want independence.
Yes, and this has been a battle that's been going on since the 1960s. So this was a former Dutch colony. It declared itself independent in 1961, but then the larger area of Indonesia took control of West Papua. And there was a referendum in 1969, but there are questions over the validity. So there's been a separatist movement that has continued since the 1960s, and so this has just flared up yet again.
Right.
Authorities said that they have regained control over the region, however.
And the latest demonstrations and protests come on the heels of a recent arrest of students who threw the Indonesian flag into a ditch, as I understand it, and because of that, these students were arrested. The rest of the people in Papua were very much disturbed by that.
Right. 43 students were taken into police custody over reports that an Indonesian flag was found damaged outside a building.
지난 17일 경찰이요, 인도네시아 국기를 훼손한 혐의로 대학생 한 40여 명을 체포했습니다. 그러자 이제 지역 주민들과 국민들이 분노가 폭발을 한 것으로 이렇게 이해를 할 수 있을 것 같고요. 파푸아는 지금 말씀해 주신 것처럼 1969년에 이제 투표에 의해서 인도네시아 영토에 편입이 됐었지만 이 투표가 과연 제대로 된 투표냐에 대한 얘기는 계속해서 이어져 온다고 합니다. Alright, and leaving that story there, let's move on to headline number 3.
An Iranian supertanker has set sail from Gibraltar 45 days after being seized by British naval forces.
영국령 지브랄터에 역류돼 있던 이란 유조선이 45일 만에 풀려났습니다.
So this Iranian supertanker has been released by British naval forces after it was illegally seized. It was seized because it was thought to be carrying oil from Iran to Syria. And if that were the case, then it would have been in violation of the European Union's unilateral sanctions against Syria.
And it was Washington that had requested the UK to take hold of this particular ship. But after 45 days, it seems like the British forces are saying, you know, we will let you go. And I guess that's not going to be something Washington's happy about.
Right. So Tehran rejected London's claim that the tanker was heading to Syria. They called this seizure maritime piracy. So they're saying that essentially this was just like a situation of pirates where they just had their tanker stolen. It had about $130 million worth of light crude oil, and it spent about a month in custody in Gibraltar. And this was, like you said, where U.S. authorities attempted to seize it based on its own set of restrictive measures toward Iran.
네. 앞서서 이제 45일 전에 어떤 일이 있었나를 좀 살펴보면은요, 지난 7월 초에 시리아로 가고 있었던 이 이란 유조선이 영국 해군에 의해서 납포가 됐었는데, 이제 미국이 영국 해군에 납포 요청을 한 것입니다. 미국과 이란 간에 지금 갈등이 계속 이어지고 있는 과정이 있죠. 45일이 지나고 나서 영국령에서는 이제 풀어준 상태고요. 미국에서는 이것을 어떻게 볼지 또 이목이 집중됩니다. So the spat or the dispute, I suppose, between the US and Iran continues on. So we'll have to keep a close watch on this situation. All right, let's go on to headline number 4.
A fuel tanker exploded in Uganda on Sunday, killing at least 10 people.
아프리카 우간다에서 유조차 폭발 사고로 최소 10명이 숨졌습니다.
So this happened on Sunday when a fuel tanker lost control and rammed into two commuter taxis in a western district in Uganda. The fire from the tanker sparked three smaller secondary explosions of vehicles parked nearby, and several shops at the scene also caught fire. 9 bodies were retrieved at the scene, and another was trapped beneath a truck.
Right, and it's really tragic. What's even worse is that apparently accidents of this kind do happen more frequently than we'd like to see in this part of the world. But of course, this has been one of the more fatal of those accidents. As you said, at least 10 people have been killed. CNN, not too long ago, has updated that figure to 17, so we'll again have to keep a close watch on those figures. But nonetheless, it was a tanker truck carrying fuel exploded after a collision. Tell us more.
Right, and there was a second accident on the same day where there was a minivan that crashed into a passenger bus on a highway in eastern Uganda. So this just points to the fact that there are a lot of lethal traffic accidents. And this is because the roads are not designed well or maintained. They're narrow. They have a lot of potholes, and Ugandan police usually blame motor accidents on speeding drivers. But at the same time, the infrastructure is not well maintained either. And
Some people even say the penalty is not strict enough. So we'll have to maybe see what authorities say about that. 현지 경찰에 따르면은요, 우간다에서 유조차 한 대가 택시 2대 와 충돌을 하면서 폭발을 했고, 그로 인해서 최소 10명이 사망을 했다고 하고요. 이제 일부 외신에 따르면은 이제 17명이 사망했다라는 소식도 있습니다. Okay, let's go on to our next headline.
The UN is set to ban the practice of taking baby elephants from their natural habitat and placing them in zoos and circuses.
야생에서 불법으로 포획된 코끼리를 동물원 등에 팔아넘기는 거래가 금지될 전망입니다.
There was a UN wildlife conference in Geneva where delegates from 46 countries voted to ban the practice of taking baby elephants from their natural habitat and away from their mothers and placing them inside zoos and circuses. The countries that voted included the United States. 19 or voted against it included the United States, and 19 abstained from the vote.
네. 외신에 따르면은요, 스위스 제네바에서 이제 멸종 위기에 처한 야생 동물 또 식물 국제 거래에 관한 협약에서 한 가지 안건이 상정이 됐는데, 이 안건이 지금 얘기해 주신 그 내용입니다. 찬성 46표, 반대 18표, 그리고 기권 19표로 가결이 돼서 28일 날 전체 회의를 통해 최종 승인을 앞두고 있다고 합니다. So in about 8 days or so, we'll have to see what the final result of that is.
Right. So they say it's just very cruel to separate the baby elephants from the mother. It's also cruel to the mother and also to the herds that are left behind. And so this decision specifically targets Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe itself has sent more than 100 baby elephants to China since 2012. Wow. And a lot of these animals are treated cruelly by the animal handlers.
Okay, and let's check our final headline.
Poland has demanded additional compensation from Germany for the damage and suffering the Nazis caused in World War II.
폴란드 당국이 독일을 상대로 2차 세계대전 피해에 대한 추가 배상을 요구했습니다.
So the Polish foreign minister says that Poland has not received enough compensation from Germany since World War II, unlike other victim countries. He said that there are countries that have suffered less damage than Poland but have been rewarded more. And so he said that it's important that Poland is treated fairly compared to other countries.
Wasn't there some sort of agreement in the 1950s where it gave up those rights?
Right. So the Polish government gave up its right to receive compensation from East Germany after the 1953 Soviet-German Treaty under the Soviet Union's influence. And then there was the West Germany and the Warsaw Pact in 1970. But then there's been a rise in compensation demands in Poland since the Act and Justice Party came to power in 2015. So there's been a rise in nationalism with this party. And so this has been part of the platform for this party to demand reparations.
네, 1953년 당시에는 소련과 동독의 배상 면제 협정이라는 게 있었는데요. 그것에 따라서 폴란드는 동독으로부터 어떤 배상도 받지 않겠다라는 그런 권리를 포기했습니다. 그 당시에는 그랬었고요. 그런데 이제 어제 폴란드의 외무장관은 바르샤바 분기 75주년을 맞아서 또 제2차 세계대전 발발 80주년을 맞아서 이제 2차 세계대전에 대한 배상을 다시 얘기할 때가 아니냐 그런 얘기를 하면서 다른 피해 국가는 달리 너무나 배상을 받지 못했다 이런 얘기를 했습니다. We'll have to see how this progresses, but yeah, I mean, if compensation needs to be made, then it needs to be made. Okay, well, those were our stories, our headlines for this morning. Let's remind our listeners of the quiz.
Which of the following situations call for 눈치 reading? Number 1, when it is time to leave the office but nobody is moving. Or number 2, listening to morning special.
눈치를 보통 이런 상황에서 보죠. 어떤 걸까요? 1번, when it's time to leave the office but no one is moving. 퇴근할 때는 됐는데 아무도 자리에서 일어서지 않을 때. Or number 2, 2번은 모닝스페셜 들을 때. 언제 눈치를 보통 보시나요? 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원, 샵 1045로 보내주세요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 1부에서는 추첨을 통해 총 5분께 떡볶이 세트 보내드리겠습니다. 노래 듣고 와서요. 여러분의 사연과 함께 뉴스 포커스도 살펴볼게요. This is F.R. David with our first song of the day, Words.